So what kind of reptile do you think this movie is? A crocodile, an alligator, a lizard, a Charizard, a Charmander? Chase Leaki here with the Blue Futon reviewing Reptile. So what's about? Pretty simple premise. We have a cop, Benicio del Toro, and there's a horrific crime scene, and he's got to figure out who done it. Real estate agents, the cops, drug dealers, church people, random, people with grudges. We are going to find out. So, did I like this film? I thought it was a pretty good cop whodunit movie that's very grounded. I'm going to say that we're grounded a couple of times in this movie because it just feels that way. But I'll say it fizzles out at the end with what you were getting and what you're expecting. But then when the overall package comes into play, you're thinking, this was a very generic movie. And unfortunately, generic isms can only get you so far. So we're talking about the positives. I think the acting's top notch. Anytime Benicio del Toro is in a movie, I am very much entertained with this. Traffic, Sicario, and there's plenty other ones I could say, but when he's in it and he's the main focus, I am intrigued with what the story is supposed to bring to the viewer. Alicia Silverstone does a good job. I think Justin Timberlake does a fine job, even though he's not in the movie for that long. I would say he's in it for maybe 30% of the movie. And I do think the camera work and the cinematography is one of the high points. I said this in the Haunted of Venice movie, where I like how everything's not focused, where it's weird camera angles. Here, I think the director's his first main feature. The rest of the time, he's done music videos. But this one, he wanted everything to be focused, centered, and smooth. And what do I mean by that? Every time camera movements did happen, it was very much panning, 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 stop. Panning, 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 stop. And he wants everyone that is talking or whoever he wants the audience to focus on to be front and center, so you don't miss the details. And you can say you like that or you don't. I did notice that, and I thought it was a very interesting niche that he did, and I did think it worked overall for this story. There are a couple side story plots with especially Benicio del Toro and his wife, and is she going to be cheating? Then you also have these different cop characters about who is actually good cops, who are actually bad cops, who are these real estate agents, what about these coppers, or what about these drug dealers, what about these people painting a church? And even though they decide to add those, like, oh, the whodunit elements, like I said, when the overall ending occurs, you're just like, I understand what you're trying to do and trying to, like, make everyone go left and right. But even though you have those characters that make you think you have to go left or go right, it was very much a simplistic, linear story that didn't have the twists and turns I don't think the director or writers had played out to be. And I think that's the biggest fault when you have a movie like this. You need something to make it stand out. You need that pop factor. You need that oh shit factor that the audience hasn't seen before. And unfortunately, there wasn't that with this movie. Yes, you could say it was a gritty-esque noir type of film with great acting, great suspense on the first half of the movie, and the whole whodunit. Yes, the last battle, you could say at the very end, did have some shocking moments and was filmed extremely well. But then when it just plays out at the end, it was like a stop and we're done. And I understand why they did that, but it just felt me unfulfilled about the overall package. So like I said, the 2/3 of the beginning of the film, I enjoyed. The third act kind of fizzles out. Then it kind of goes back up in good territory when it comes to the final battle sequence. And I think the gun play and the gun handling in this movie was extremely, extremely well done. Like, they made sure that people looked like they knew exactly what they're doing when holding the firearms. So overall, Reptile, if I had to say what kind of, reptile this is, I don't really like snakes. I was in my garage one day and it looks like a snake died, so I had to pull it out. It was pretty freaking disgusting. But it's a normal reptile. I mean, nothing like, alligator with the eccentricness of it, but like a small, like, toad or a frog or you could call this an iguana dragon, where it thinks it wants to camouflage, but then out in the open, it's just a normal little lizard. So Reptile will receive a 3.5 out of 5 Futons. You guys at 70%. Let's see what the critics' news scores gave this one. Critics a 42%, 43 of them. Audience score is 75% with over 500. Critic consensus Strong work from Benicio del Toro and Alicia Silverstone isn't enough to make up for Reptile's convoluted and ultimately underwhelming story. I have to agree, but I just think as the overall movie itself, I did enjoy where it was going and the elements brought to the table. 75, 7. Ugh. 75, 70, 42. Chase We Hockey here with the Blue Futon. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know things Butantopia. You Butons, say you had a great day. Now I don't care watch this today, tomorrow, week from now, a month, or a year from now. I love every single freaking one of you. And do you like reptiles? Or do you just don't care for them? Like I said, snakes? When I'm running outside and I see a huge snake come after me, I kind of want to kill it. Sorry.